Hey, how's it going? Welcome back to the Social.in podcast. I'm your host Pradeep, and on this episode of the Social Media Weekly, we're talking about YouTube launching Search Insights tool, we're talking about Facebook betting the company on the metaverse, and we're talking about Elon Musk and Twitter. Let's get started. So for our first story, we're talking about YouTube and the Search Insights tool. Now this tool was actually launched as an experimental feature a couple of months back, in November actually, and now it's rolling out to all creators and brands by the end of this month. Essentially, you can use the tool to find out search insights for all users on YouTube and specifically your channel users. You can also use it to find out content gaps and therefore better plan your content strategy. It's rolling out in English to India, US, UK, Canada and Australia with data for the last 28 days. For our next story, we're talking about Clearview and the Ukrainian government. Now, Clearview is a pretty controversial Silicon Valley company basically because it has a lot of privacy and ethical concerns, but apparently their CEO has written an open letter to Kyiv and has offered to help the Ukrainian government, and it looks like that offer has been accepted. Essentially, the Ukrainian government is using Clearview to identify the dead, check on foes, and verify identity at checkpoints. Clearview is basically a database and search engine for faces. For our next story, we're talking about Elon Musk and the Twitter saga continuing. Here's what you need to know. Elon Musk basically 2 weeks back put in an offer and bought about 9.1% of Twitter, and then after that put in an offer to buy the entire company and take it private. Now the board of Twitter is obviously not happy with this. They put in a poison pill which will prevent shareholders from buying the entire company. For our next story, we're talking about Facebook betting the entire company on the metaverse. Now here's the thing, a couple of days back it broke that Facebook would be charging about 47% commission for all creators selling digital goods on its Horizon Worlds platform. Now this is after Facebook had made fun of Apple for charging about 30% commission. Meta is obviously super invested in the platform and they want to take on Apple in this regard. They're investing about $10 billion this year on the platform, and the first device is due in the next couple of years. For our final story, we're talking about WhatsApp's community features and a host of other features. Now, communities has been in development for quite a while now, and it essentially seems to be a feature designed for schools. It is a feature wherein all of the groups that you are an admin of can be aggregated into one page, and group members can see the other groups that are part of this community. Apart from this, WhatsApp is also rolling out 32% audio calls and also larger file limits for file sharing. That's about it for this week's episode, guys. If you enjoyed it, please go over to your favorite podcast application and subscribe to the Social.in podcast. Also, go over to YouTube and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and we will see you guys right back here next week.